is the King River, the west coast of Tasmania, on the Great Australian Detour. And we, and detouring a long way off the highway. Woo!
I used to think the romance of the open road was the stuff of legend, another time and most certainly another place. We know better. The open road's still there, just off the freeway, connecting families to towns and stories and what will become some of our fondest memories. Subaru's Great Australian Detour is a celebration of the long way, of looking at the drive as the destination and seeing just how much we can do as we travel from A to B, instead of racing and missing the best bits. This is Australia, the greatest detour there is. On this Great Australian Detour, we take the Subaru BRZ Coupe S and head to the west coast of Tasmania for adventure, of course, and wilderness, and gold, and an Australia like you've never seen. Anywhere that started life as a penal colony is going to have a pretty rich history, and Hobart certainly has that. Bleak, tough, hostile, it was brutal for pretty much everyone concerned. But history also tells us that Hobart has grown into a beautiful city, one that celebrates its history, the good and the bad. So that's where we're going to start this Great Australian Detour. Constitution Dock is right in the middle of where it all began. Mach 1 will hold its own place in history. It's Hobart's first storytelling hotel. 114 rooms remember the people from Van Diemen's Land's earliest beginnings to a more recent history. Justin's our in-house storyteller with lots to tell.
Andrew, every one of our rooms has a Tasmanian character on the door, a Tasmanian story. They're not, kings and conquerors, they're ordinary, everyday people. But we're not going to put you in Taffy's room. We're going to put you in someone else's room.
Taffy the Bee-Man. Tasmania's is a history full of characters. The good, the bad, and the Fatty Appleton.
Well, this is the room we've chosen for you. It's nothing to do with the character. Fatty was somebody who lived down at the dock here. When Jackson checked you in, he's probably thought, you can see here, it says hearty and resilient, and he's obviously felt that there was something hearty and resilient.
So does that mean Jackson stands there when someone walks up and he goes, oh, Jack Daddo and Fatty Appleton, that fits.
He was a real Tasmanian character. Maybe that's why they've given this room to you. But let's pop in and have a bit of a look. Come through. That was
Oi. Wow. You could make a little history here. Justin, if there was ever a place to have a storytelling hotel, this has to be the best place. There's such a vast history.
And it is quite a tangible history in Tasmania, from the Palawa through the convicts, and the stories all continue today. Our first stories go back 40,000 plus years, the Palawa, the Tasmanian Aboriginal people, and they're not our stories to tell. So we seek the engagement of the Palawa community. We ask their permission to tell those stories. And
it was bleak. Like, what happened on these docks? The treatment of women was, the women convicts was appalling.
Yeah, they had their heads shaved and they'd be marched up to the Cascades female factory. But that hair, we can still find that in some places around Tasmania. The hair of the convict women ends up in the plaster and the mortar, binding it together.
So they used everything.
Everything, waste not, want
not.
Kind
of like a fancy chef these days.
But that's Tasmania's history. We haven't always been very wealthy, so we have to mend and make do. Yes, use everything. And that's why we have this wonderful glut of heritage architecture, because, well, look, we can't afford to pull this building down and build a new one, so let's just put a new front on it. So this fantastic Art Deco building over here will have an 1840s back on it. We've got all these architectural mullet hairdos. It's wonderful to have them.
Just with the convicts, why would they have come all the way from Sydney Surely there was, because this is the second city of Australia. Why wouldn't they stop in at Eden?
It's because the French were sniffing about, and the French were going, oh, we're a little bit interested in Van Diemen's Land.
Okay.
And the minute the French were interested, the English were, they're falling over themselves to get down here, because if the French had taken Van Diemen's Land, they wouldn't be able to get round to go to Sydney. They'd have to go all the other way around instead.
I could spend all day looking at the names, but there's a walking tour as well.
That's right. We've got several tours that we do, and one of them we use old school viewfinders, and we take you around.
What are they called?
The Viewmasters.
Yes.
And we take you around, and you'll see what you can see in 2022. But then occasionally, when you click through, someone stood in the same spot, but 100 years earlier, and took a photograph, and you get to see the different layers of different Hobart. So we'd like to show you some of that.
Yeah, great. It's not a kaleidoscope, it's a Viewmaster, and there's something quite fun and nostalgic about it. Fully immersive, it works better than digital.
While you're here, you need to go exploring, but just remember your dinner's ready in an hour and a half, so you could be back by 5.
I'll leave you with that.
All right.
That was great.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Oh, once a fisherman. So this fishing boat's just come in, and I can't tell you how hard I'm fighting myself to not go. How'd you go? Did you get anything? Any luck, mate? I'm gonna ask. Okay, so I asked. It was abalone. I thought maybe lobster, but yeah, they did well. Hobart Town's a city in the groove in every sense. After the break, we're actually going to start our detour. And I think I've worked out why I'm in Fatty Appleton's room. I'm going to start with a scallop and work my way forward. It's ironic that on this great Australian detour, there's no main road to miss between Hobart and Queenstown, which is where we're headed. Not that it matters. In fact, this is where Tassie really gets it right. As flowers are to romance, or St Andrews is to golf, the road to Queenstown is to driving what Tasmania is to heritage-listed wilderness. Very close to perfect. Flips and flops, lefts and rights, the road follows an old walking trail, and that may well be the secret of the road's great design. Apart from the staggering scenery, there's not much humanity on the way, so keep an eye out. Hello, Linda. Bye, Linda. That was quick. One secret to the long way is local knowledge. Peanut's captain is Pete. So, Pete,
Yep.
You're local.
Yeah, pretty much.
What can you tell me about the 99 bends?
Well, back in the day, there used to be the old original road. There was, it was a lot narrower than this. Horse and carts used to go down, and I got pictures of it. And there was 99 bends. And then in the 1980s, I think it was, they put the new road in, and because they cut a lot of corners out that were originally
So
there.
it's not 99 bends?
It's 52.
Now it's 52 bends?
Counted them several times. But it's still 99 bends. They still call it 99 bends because it's a tradition.
Yeah.
A lot of the motorcyclists love it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, 99 bends are fantastic.
If Pirate Pete rates it, and he's local, this should be better than expected. I've been looking forward to this, Queenstown. At one point, the richest mining town in the world, and to get there, you go down the Gormy Hill and the 99 bends. Now, I know there's 52 bends, but it's called the 99 bends, and it is one of the great highlight roads you can drive. My daughter did it recently with a friend in a van. She said it was like driving a loaf of bread. Such fun. We're not in that. We're in this. This is a classic rear-wheel drive sports car layout. It has the ultra-low centre of gravity, and it's a 6-speed manual. So we've got push to start. Oh, that is the 2.4 litre horizontally opposed boxer 4-cylinder engine. That's a satisfying growl. Okay, let's go. Been looking forward to this. There's an 8-inch touchscreen. I won't be looking at that because I'm looking forward, keeping my eyes directly on the road. Sometimes I'll look in the rear vision to watch the road disappear out the back, but generally I'm looking forward. This is a dream drive. Oh, kangaroo! Just kidding. The gateway to Tassie's west coast, Queenstown's home to about 1,700 people, a rich pioneering and mining history, a cinema, a few pubs, and a museum sharing the past with the present. Hey, Diane, you're my first Queenstown local.
Yep.
So you've been here your whole life?
Yes, I was born here.
Yeah, what do you love about it?
Oh, I love everything about it. I like the people, I like the town.
In terms of the hardness of and the heartiness of the people, what about the oval
Yeah.
with gravel?
That's
I
right.
mean, I saw the boys doing footy training pre-season earlier.
Yep.
Like that must just
Yeah.
hurt.
Like you watch AFL and they skid halfway down the thing. You won't be doing that here. So if they fall on the ground, they actually keep rolling because otherwise if you try stopping yourself, you're covered in gravel brush.
So one day we'll see someone from Queenstown playing for Hawthorn or someone and
Yep.
they'll go, oh, the drop and roll. You know where you learned that? Great.
Yep. And a lot more people lived here.
Yeah, right.
They actually lived here instead of coming and going.
Yeah, right. Well, we're going, so. But someone else will come.
That's right, yes.
Good on you. Thanks, Diane.
Thank you.
We really are going rafting, as it turns out, down the stunning King River. While Queenstown's still a mining town, it's morphing into a full-blown adventure tourism destination. Hiking, mountain biking, and the best way to see the famous hue and pine, rafting. Been so spoilt in the BRZ, I now get to ride in a loaf of bread. We're going rafting. The rafting experience is fully immersive. So this is the King River, right? And this is as good as a Tasmanian river can be. And then amazingly, you come up here and this is the Queen River, that's right, Ollie? And you'll see the colour change, and that's the remnants of mining from 30 years ago, but it's getting better. But I did meet this lady in town, and she said that in the olden days, what the kids would do is it was a grey sludge, they'd try and run across the sludge. Sometimes they get stuck, and it was great fun. Queenstown fun. See? So this is the remnants, but it's definitely getting better. The vegetation's almost Jurassic in scale. The gorges, gorgeous. And the hero, of course, are the rapids. It's gorgeous. Gotta remember to look up and around if you're watching the water going, oh. There's your male hue and pine there, the droopy one, and that's the non-droopy one, the pretty one, that's the female. Together, forever. Just make it like a home and away version of hue and pine. That was like a Great Australian Wilderness Detour, just to be on the King River. It was brilliant, the rapids were good, but the best bit I think was seeing the hue and pines in the wild. So the males are droopy and the females are beautiful, and they grow literally 1 millimetre per year. So when you see a big one, they're just hundreds of years old. And to see them like that, as they should be seen, is quite special. Nice detail. There is a full day paddle on the King, or given we're on a bit of a magical history tour, there's another way back to Queenstown. It's a unique frontier type story. What more would you expect from Tassie's Wild West? I'm not a train spotter. And he's looking at a rack tank engine. It's a 1938 locomotive, the last of its kind that was built. And what's great about this rail journey, so we get the river down, come back on the train. And this was derelict, in fact, not even working from the 70s to the 2000s. They spent millions making it work again. So now we get to enjoy another slightly different bit of nostalgia. Feels like Puffing Billy. The track was hand-carved into the side of a mountain without explosives by men who are up for adventure and promised 6 lousy shillings a day. Katie, I've got this great sense of nostalgia from Puffing Billy just being on this train. It's great that it's still going, isn't it?
Yeah, we absolutely love showing people what we've got to offer here and telling them all about the history of the West Coast and just the triumph that happened back in the day to get a railway. And we had triumph again to get another railway.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? So you see how, I mean, it's incredible country, and then get it restarted. And the fact that that took another, 30, 40 years is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It was closed for so long and the rainforest reclaimed it and we got it back. It took quite a while to rebuild the railway.
All right. Now, I've got a present for you. I think this is a great initiative. You go on the train, you fill out your postcard, and these guys send it anywhere in the world.
Thank you.
It's only going to mum and dad.
That's all right.
They're
We'll
in
send
Melbourne.
it anywhere.
Yeah.
It'll get to Melbourne.
All right, now this is going to go. They're going to literally take this all away again. So thanks very much.
No problem.
All right, we got to go too.
Yeah,
Cheers.
enjoy. Cheers.
From a heritage railway to one of the world's great wilderness areas, we continue west to the coast of Tassie. We're heading into Strahan, spelt Strahan, but said Strahan like prawn. It's the home of Hell's Gate, and I will definitely show you that. This is the BRZ Coupe S Manual. There's 2 different drive modes to suit the conditions or the way you like to drive. That's normal or track mode. You can toggle between them with this button down here. It's a bit more of a sporty feel, and the roads most definitely call for that. Queenstown's the mining town, and Strahan is part of what made it work so well. Strahan's got a port with direct and dangerously narrow access to the rest of the world. Now this feels like the quintessential Australian coastal town. Access to the World Heritage Wilderness of the Gordon River is easily managed with Gordon River cruises. Hell's Gate and Sarah Island are part of the trip. I'm just waving because when I'm on shore and I wave and people don't wave, I always go, So just in case anyone's waving. I've been really looking forward to this. This is Hell's Gate. So when the convicts came, way back when, it was literally their gates to hell. And we'll see hell a little bit later. Also for modern day shipping, it's a really difficult place to enter and leave from. And normally this cruise would go out and turn around, but it's a big northerly wind, northerly swell, and it's just too rough. So today, we get to look at it, enjoy it, and move on. Sarah Island is inside the magic line that is the World Heritage Wilderness Area, home of the hard-fought battle that saved a wilderness, while 3 Tassie premiers and 1 Prime Minister lost their jobs. As pristine as you'd imagine, it's a gentle run up the Gordon to see everything from sassafras to myrtle to hue and pine, all of it safe and protected. They came through the gates of hell to here. This is Sarah Island, where they dumped the worst or the best prisoners, so the worst, the re-offenders. And in the first year, the women were out there on Grummet Rock in a tidal pool. There was 8 of them, and that became a hospital. But honestly, you just see the ruins all the way around, and it is bleak. It's bleak now. I can't imagine what it would have been like. Sam, you're one of the guides on the boat. How much do you love the World Heritage Area?
I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And whenever I come out here, I never see the same thing twice, pretty much. It's always changing. The wildlife is incredible.
Now, you're a Tasmanian. Any relation when the dam demonstrations were going on?
So yeah, my great uncle actually happened to be part of the expedition team to the Koodaklina Caves, originally known as the Fraser Caves. One of the really major reasons why the dams here didn't go ahead. So a bit of a family relation there, which is really interesting.
Okay, does he talk about it much? Does he sort of, he goes back and now, I had hair like
Back in
yours,
my
son,
day,
I had hair like yours.
He's touched on it a couple times. I know he has told me he got arrested in the protest, so that's a bit of a cool fact. Other than that, he really didn't get into too much.
Sarah Island's amazing. So it's a really true history tour, isn't it?
We actually had the 200th anniversary of the landing of Sarah Island here just a couple weeks ago. Really awesome.
Great job guiding.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for having
much.
us on the tour.
It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
It's less than 300 kilometres from Hobart to Strahan, but it could take a week to do the drive justice. Small stops tend to stretch out as the views reach for the wilderness. There are rivers to paddle, beaches to walk, and trails to hike or ride. And of course, there's the road. It feels alive, twisting and turning through dense forest, across lakes and streams, to and from the coast. That's it for this Great Australian Detour. I hope you've enjoyed it. I asked the locals what they like, and it's the proximity to the World Heritage areas. They love the tourists. A lot of motorbikes come through Strahan, but it's much quieter in winter. Now, if you leave me here, I'm going to figure out our next Great Australian Detour, and I'll do it while I'm driving back to Hobart. So I want to work out which was the very best bit of road. Was it between here and Queenstown, or Queenstown to the next bit, or the next bit to Hobart? Maybe I'll go north towards Launceston, because that's apparently a pretty good road too. Huh.